Well, now we come to the Best Actor category, and there are 3 nominations. Joe Don Baker for his portrayal of the bluff CIA man in the thriller Edge of Darkness. Ben Kingsley for his role as Silas Marner in the adaptation of George Eliot's famous classic. And Bob Peck, who played the embittered policeman hunting his daughter's killer, who becomes caught up in a nuclear free-for-all again in Edge of Darkness. And in this case, there are 2 winners. The award is shared jointly, first by Bob Peck, whom we'll be meeting later, and also by Ben Kingsley for Silas Marner.
And now we move on to the award for the Best Drama Series. The nominations are The Beiderbecke Affair, Yorkshire Television, Alan Plater's offbeat mystery thriller, Bleak House, BBC Two, an adaptation of Charles Dickens' satire on the legal system, EastEnders, BBC One's hugely successful soap opera, Edge of Darkness, BBC Two's chilling nuclear thriller, and The Price, Channel 4, the story of a kidnap by Irish terrorists. And the winner is Edge of Darkness.
Well, Edge of Darkness had an almost unprecedented success rate on television. With me from the Broadcasting Press Guild is Stuart Lane. Stuart, what exactly was the success rate? How do you measure the success of something like that?
Well, I think there were 2 main factors involved in the success of Edge of Darkness. Troy Kennedy-Martin took some very, very emotive and topical issues, such as the issue of the nuclear industry, the issue of closed government, the issue of the whole factor of secrecy with regard to what's going on in the nuclear industry, and enclosed it with a marvellous suspense story. It was so marvellous because you didn't really know what was going on most of the time, which made it most compulsive viewing, with brilliant performances. And I think the whole structure of the programme gave weight to its success. I think the second factor is that Edge of Darkness was really part of a skein of programmes by the BBC, which is often accused of being pro-establishment, which in effect were very critical of closed government. We had Deadhead just recently. We had the German film about an atomic radiation link by a transporter. And next Sunday, BBC Two runs The Russian Soldier, which is about a leakage of chemicals from chemical warfare experiments.
And also part of its success, it was repeated very shortly after transmission on BBC Two and BBC One. And if we hand over to Bob Langley now, I think he's got the star of Edge of Darkness with him.
Well, indeed, Bob Peck is the joint winner of the Best Actor Award, and I also have Michael Waring, who's the producer. Interesting listening to what Stuart Lane was saying there. Do you think that the writer Troy Kennedy-Martin was in fact using the thriller genre as a kind of vehicle to say something that he personally wanted to say?
Yes, without doubt. I think the idea was really to use a popular genre like the thriller to articulate matters of contemporary weight, like the closed secret
and indeed the nuclear side as well. In fact,
yes.
I remember one reviewer saying at the time, he said it erodes institutions which could be essential to our survival in the thermonuclear age. Now, do you think that events since it went out have really exonerated it in that sense?
Well, events continue to illustrate the series. I mean, as one seemed to be reading all the time we were making it, there were regular articles about either nuclear waste or potentially private dumps of the stuff, and one reads about the stream of nuclear accidents.
So you would have thought you might be overtaken by events,
nearly every day since. Well, there's always the problem when you do a contemporary story for television, because of the long gestation time, that one is sometimes frightened of being overtaken by topicality, because it does take 2 years to do a programme like this.
The unusual thing about it was, it's one of the few thriller series which started off not with action, not with mystery, but with a very long period of, a very long focus on personal grief, Bob. And I would have thought that that would be a very difficult thing to play, where you have nothing but your eyes to work with, because the camera's really close up on your face.
Yes, I enjoyed that experience, rather in the way that Ben was describing.
Yeah. Did you have anything to draw on, though? I mean, had you experienced yourself personal bereavement?
No, I hadn't, but a couple of years before I had played in a Shakespeare play called Macbeth, a character called Macduff, who undergoes the same kind of bereavement. And that production ran for 2 years, so I felt looking back on it now, I realise that that was helping me when I took on...
So you drew a parallel between Craven and Macduff?
Yes, I think they were motivated in very much the same way.
Are you able, are you able to switch off in between scenes? Because you shot it all out of sequence, and I mean, there you were. I mean, particularly through that first episode. I mean, it must have been tremendous, a horrendous thing to play, I would have thought. When they call cut, are you able then to pop into the canteen and have a cup of coffee and tell dirty jokes and then come back again and then start grieving once all over again?
And the caterer is an essential part of filming.
I mean, when you taste their coffee, it makes you grieve.
And their food. No, their food was excellent. But there was a general good humour on the programme.
I think you needed to be. I needed it. Anyhow, it was a tremendous production. I really enjoyed it. Bob, Peck, congratulations, and Michael Waring, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.